Have you ever been really diving into something challenging, maybe prepping for a big presentation or, trying to get through a dense report, and you just hit a wall? You make one small kind of silly error,
Hmm.
and suddenly that mistake, it isn't just an error anymore. It feels like proof of some huge flaw in you.
Right. It becomes personal.
Totally. Your whole system just shuts down. You start thinking, okay, I'm just not smart enough for this. And that feeling the source mentions, being tired and negative when
Yeah.
everything looks like a problem, it just completely swamps you.
It's a really common experience, that overwhelm.
Well, if that kind of intense negativity sounds familiar to you, you're basically right where the person in our source material started out. So today, we're here to tackle that exact feeling, that energy drain, that sense of being overwhelmed. Okay, let's unpack this. This deep dive, it's based on this really interesting dialogue called The Power of Positive Thinking. And our mission, well, it's pretty simple, actually. We want to pull out the practical tools it offers, show how just a straightforward change in how you talk to yourself can genuinely shift your energy and, improve your outcomes.
And that opening scenario you described,
Uh-huh.
where just one mistake, a single setback in performance,
Yeah.
it immediately triggers that really crippling thought, I'm not smart enough. That's like the classic example of that negative spiral. The source material is super clear about this. That internal story, that narrative, it just drains your capacity really fast and makes every little obstacle feel huge and insurmountable.
Right.
It actually costs you mental energy just to keep being that negative.
Okay, but here's the thing. Whenever we talk about stuff like this, positive thinking, the immediate pushback, from listeners, maybe even from me sometimes, is, what is this really?
Hmm.
Is it just like forcing yourself, pretending everything's great when it's clearly not?
Yeah, and that's such a critical point. The dialogue hits that head on. It says
Hmm.
very firmly, positive thinking is not about pretending.
God.
If it were just denial, it wouldn't work, right? It
Yeah.
wouldn't be effective. Instead, it defines it as something much more proactive. The definition given is it's more about focusing on solutions instead of problems.
Solutions, not problems.
But that shift is fundamental.
Oh.
It recognizes the tangible impact of your internal script.
Yeah.
It really emphasizes that the words you tell yourself are very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So by consciously choosing positive thoughts, you're actually generating positive energy, real energy that fuels productive actions.
Instead of just spinning your wheels in self-blame.
Exactly. That's the crucial shift.
Okay, so let's move from that sort of philosophical point into the actual mechanics. How do you do the reframing? This is where it stops being abstract and becomes, a technique you can use.
Right. Let's think about that moment of making an error again. The negative script, the default, is that self-attack. I'm not smart enough. So the dialogue teaches us to kind of intercept that thought, like catch it, and replace it immediately with a different reality.
Mhm.
Specifically, I made a mistake, but I can learn from it.
Yeah,
It feels like a subtle change in words, but it completely changes the direction of your energy, doesn't it?
it does. And it's effective because it taps into how our brains actually process challenges. When you spiral negatively, you're essentially tying up your cognitive resources, your
Yeah.
mental horsepower in that cycle of self-criticism.
Okay.
Your brain is focused on the threat, right? The perceived failure.
So it's stuck. Pretty much. But when you adopt that positive thought pattern, I can learn from this, you're redirecting those resources.
Mhm.
Your brain stops looking inward at the blame and starts looking outward. It starts to look for opportunities, not only problems.
Right.
And the source notes, this isn't just like wishful thinking. It's a practical mindset that many successful people use because it immediately points them towards the next step. What can I do about this?
Okay, that sounds really powerful for, small mistakes, everyday slip-ups. But what if the situation is genuinely bad? What if we're talking about something objectively difficult? The source uses the example of failing a major exam, something really bad. How can you tell yourself, oh, this is temporary, without just ignoring serious consequences? This feels like the real test. Here's where it gets really interesting.
It absolutely is the moment of truth for this practice. And this
Yeah.
is where the dialogue, I think, does a great job of setting realistic expectations.
Yeah.
It confirms, look, positive thinking doesn't mean you deny the failure happened. That would be delusion.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it requires you to acknowledge the reality of the situation, but then deliberately choose a hopeful perspective.
A hopeful perspective. Okay, what's the difference?
That distinction is key. You're not saying the failure isn't real. You are choosing how you frame your response to it. So the specific reframing language suggested for a genuine failure like that, it transforms what feels like an absolute dead end into more of a pause.
Okay.
It's This failure is temporary. I will prepare better next time. See how that shifts the mental state from I'm defeated to I'm determined.
Yeah, that's a big shift from victim to agent almost.
Exactly.
The source then gives this brilliant analogy. It's super easy to remember, and it really shows the difference this mindset makes in like real life outcomes.
Two students.
Yeah, two students, they fail the exact same important test, high stakes. Student number one, they internalize it completely. They think, I'm a loser. And that feeling, that identity of being a loser,
Yeah.
it leads them to just give up.
Right. Their behavior follows the thought.
Exactly. They stop trying. Game over for them.
Oh.
But student number two uses that hopeful perspective we were just talking about. They see the setback differently. They think, okay, this is my chance to improve.
Right. Beta point, not a definition of self.
Precisely. And that thought drives them. They actually change how they study. They put in more effort, maybe different effort, and they pass the next time.
And pass.
They pass. The lesson is just crystal clear, isn't it? The second student wins. The positive mindset isn't the magic wand itself.
Yeah.
The magic is the behavior change and the motivation that mindset unlocks. It gives you the energy, the conviction to keep going even when things look pretty bleak.
It fuels resilience.
Yeah, resilience. That's a great word for it. Okay, so we get the why, the mechanism, and the what, the impact. But how do we build this muscle? How do we actually make this intentional positive choice a real daily habit, not just something we remember when we fail an exam?
That's the practical application part.
Exactly. How do we practice this? Well, the dialogue suggests starting really small, like incredibly small, just to build some momentum. The first step is focused on actual verbal practice.
Okay.
Start every single morning by saying 3 positive sentences out loud, affirmations, and the examples given are quite simple, focused on growth, not perfection. I am learning, I am growing, I believe in myself.
Just say them out loud.
Yeah, out loud. Seems small, but it's about setting the tone, maybe.
But self-talk alone, it often isn't enough, is it? The source points out that your environment plays a huge role. It's either helping you maintain this positive pattern or it's actively undermining it.
Right, like swimming upstream otherwise.
Exactly. So we need external supports for this daily practice. And the dialogue lists 3 critical ones.
Okay, what are they?
First, consciously surround yourself with positive people, people who lift you up, not drag you down.
Makes sense.
Second, feed your mind. Regularly read inspiring books or listen to things that are constructive.
Input matters.
Hugely. And third, critically. You have to learn to curate your information diet. Avoid too much negative news. It just constantly reinforces a problem-focused mindset.
That last one is tough in today's world.
It is, but it's crucial. These environmental factors, they create the ecosystem where positive thoughts can actually take root and, thrive, instead of being constantly drowned out by negativity from the outside.
And building on that idea of environment, we also need to look at how we talk with other people, right? Especially when we're discussing shared challenges, like a really tough course at uni or a difficult project at work.
Oh yeah, the group commiseration trap.
Totally. It's so easy to bond over complaining. Isn't this awful? Yeah, it's impossible. That habit just reinforces the feeling of impossibility for everyone involved. But the dialogue suggests you can actually shift that dynamic. It offers a specific reframe for talking about difficult topics with others. Instead of saying, wow, this subject is so hard, you change your language slightly. You say, this subject is a challenge, but I reckon I can handle it step by step. Or, we can handle it.
That feels different even just hearing it.
Right. The source makes that exact point. Using this reframed language immediately feels lighter. For you saying it, and for the people hearing it, it opens up possibility instead of shutting it down.
Which brings us kind of neatly to the final piece of wisdom the dialogue offers.
Yeah?
It perfectly sums up both the limitation of this practice and its real strength.
Yeah. What's the final takeaway?
It sets realistic expectations. It says, positive thoughts don't solve every single problem. Because, well, they don't. Life is complex.
Right. It's not a magic bullet.
Not at all. But, it continues, they give you the strength to face them. And that's the core benefit. Strength, resilience, energy.
Okay. So what does this all mean for you listening right now? If you take away just one thing, one action from this deep dive, maybe adopt that final mantra the dialogue seems to build towards. Whenever you feel that familiar negativity creeping in, that internal blame game starting up, just gently remind yourself, this is temporary and I can grow from it. Use that hopeful perspective.
This is temporary and I can grow from it. Simple, but powerful.
Very. And it leaves us with a final thought to mull over. If just changing the words you use, tweaking your internal script like this can unlock the mental energy and the opportunities you need to tackle the next challenge,
Yeah?
what other seemingly small, maybe unconscious habits do you have right now that might be limiting your potential, holding you back without you even realizing it? That's definitely something worth exploring.